Hi YouTube, Show Me Prepper here. Well, today's bean day. It's cold outside and I'm not really feeling like going out and shopping. I checked all my ads and I didn't see any great ads this week for any of the items that we need. So I had some beans that have been in the cabinet that I decided it was time for me to vacuum pack. And I saw a video a couple days ago about packaging beans in 1 pound packages because most of them come like these. This is a 1 pound package. Some of the bigger beans, the Great Northern that I've already done, came in a 2 pound package. And with 1/4 of a cup being a serving, this is a lot of product. So that video recommended that you package these in 1 cup containers so that you would have 4 servings. Now, if you're prepping for a family of 8, you may want to do 2 cups. I guess it's possible if you're only prepping for 2 that you want to do a 1/2 cup. But for our purposes, I'm doing 1 cup containers. So as I started to get the beans out and to package them, I realized they hadn't been cleaned. They've been cleaned as far as how they're packaged, but if I was going to cook them, they're not cleaned. And so some of you may not typically cook with beans, and if so, you may not know what you need to do. So what I set up here is the way that I like to sort beans. I put the beans that I haven't done in 1 container. In a bowl next to it, I put my trash, and then I have a bowl where I put the clean beans. But as you can see, this package of beans, here's a rock. And I don't want to eat a rock, I don't want to store a rock, and I don't want to carry a rock. So before I package these, I am going to go ahead and clean them. And the way I find that's easiest to do is on a white paper towel. You can use whatever you have, dishcloth or something else, but this seems to work for me. And basically you just put about a cup or so out on the paper towel and play a little Where's Waldo. The trash is easy to find. The beans that have been damaged or dark are easy to find. The ones that have dried way more than the rest of them, you can get rid of. You'll see the parts of beans, like this one. Here's a 1/2 a bean. So I'm throwing that out. And by getting that trash out, then what I know I have left are beans that I want to eat. Now, some people will say, well, you don't have to do all of that because you can just soak your beans overnight and that'll take care of it. Well, first of all, there's no rule that says you have to soak your beans overnight. The reason that people soak their beans overnight is because these shells are hard and they take a long time to cook. If you soak them overnight, then they will soften the outer shell and they will cook faster. So if you're planning on putting on a pot of beans and letting them sit in your slow cooker all day, there's absolutely no need to soak them overnight. No rule that says you can't, but they're going to cook fine if they're going to cook all day. If you need them to cook rather quickly, then soaking them overnight is just fine. Some of the beans the skins are a little less tough. For example, the black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas, their skins are not as tough as a regular bean, and they're smaller. So because of that, I almost never soak my black-eyed peas overnight. So once you have all of your beans cleaned and put back in your clean bowl, there still will be some remaining trash on your napkin, which is why I didn't pick it up and just fold it and dump it in my clean beans. I went ahead and started again cleaning with the next load. And like I said, these are so easy to find. You'll just as you spread them out on the paper towel, you will easily be able to identify the beans that need to not be kept and the beans that you don't want to possibly deteriorate some of the others that are in the container. So If you haven't sorted your beans, now granted, if you've got 50-pound bags stored in your basement, I'm not recommending that you open those up and sort them. I have number 10 cans that came from the cannery, the LDS cannery, and I did not sort those beans. I took them straight from the package and they went in the number 10 cans. But if I'm buying beans like these in 1 pound or 2 pound containers because I get them on sale, or because I have a coupon, or whatever it is that I'm buying these size for, then before I package them, it just makes sense to go ahead and clean them. Now, if you do choose to soak your beans overnight, one thing that when you get done with that process, when you get up in the morning or however long you've soaked them, there will be beans that will float to the top. And any bean that floats, that's a bean that you also want to get rid of. So if you do that, that's one advantage of that, and that's why some people do say, well, you don't have to clean your beans as long as you're soaking them. But I find that rocks don't float, and I have found plenty of rocks in these beans. So I do recommend that you clean them first. I still, even if I don't soak them, I put them in water so that I can see the beans that are going to float, because I don't want to cook those in with the rest of my beans. So you can see I started with the Great Northern beans and have cleaned those out, but you can see the difference in a good bean and a bean that is trash and should be discarded from the rest of your beans. You still want to wash your beans when you're getting ready to use them, and I've already done a 2-pound bag of Great Northern beans, and this is a 2-pound bag of pinto beans that I've started here. And I washed my hands before I started this project, and both of them are dirty now. So you can tell the beans are dirty. They need to be washed before you begin to prepare them. And when you wash them, you will also find beans that will float. And any bean that floats, you do want to remove. You don't want to leave that in with the rest of your beans. But not picking them and just soaking them will help identify any beans that are going to float, but it's not going to help you to identify the trash that's in your beans. And clearly this is a product that I just don't want to serve. I don't want this in with the rest of my beans, and I don't want stems in with my beans, and I don't want rocks in with my beans. So just take a few minutes if you're going to package your beans in smaller containers and the Foodsaver bags, to clean them out and make sure that what you're storing is a good product. If you're wanting it to last for a long time, then the best thing that you can do is ensure that the product that you're putting into those bags is a good product. And you can see now, I don't know if you can see on the video, but you can see over here on the edge of the paper towel where it started out clean, and this is where I've been working, and now it's dirty. So definitely your beans are going to have to be washed, but don't wash them before you store them, because you don't want to store that moisture. You want to leave them in a good dry condition. So once I have my beans clean, what I'm doing is packaging these in 1-pound packages. According to the bean bag, on all the beans, 1/4 cup is 1 serving of beans. So I'm packaging these in 1 cup containers so that I will have them pre-measured if we need to. If we need to use these to trade, or if we have the ability to give food to other people, this is a nice size package to be able to give away versus a 50-pound bag that you may or may not want them to know that you have, or a number 10 can if you've been to the cannery. So I have the Game Saver Deluxe Foodsaver. This is my second Foodsaver. I have already burned one of these up. trying to store meat and having too much liquid in it. So this is my second Foodsaver. It's a little nicer than my first one. But as you all know, these bags are expensive. And so I have found for my Game Saver the perfect size bag for 1 pound. 1 pound worth of beans is a 5.5 inch bag. Now these are gallon bags. Of course the measurements would be different if I was using the quart size bag. But for my machine, I don't have to fight it. I can get the ends into the vacuum area. I don't have any beans along the top, so it works very nice. I tried going a little shorter on some bags, and it was sort of a wrestling game. So for me, that works perfectly. And I know I'm not wasting any bags. Because they are expensive, and so I don't want to waste them. And if I'm wasting even a 1/2 inch after 10, 12 bags, you know, I've wasted a foot of space. So for mine, 5.5 inches is perfect to make 1 pound containers. Once these are all finished, then they'll go into a food grade tub so that they'll stay not in daylight, in dark, and be protected from the elements and any pests. So hope this helps somebody out. Have a nice day, YouTube. Thanks.